Hello and welcome to the City Newsroom on City TV. We are also live on DSTV channel 363. My name is Fremedu Nyamu.
And my name is Nanatufo Boateng. Coming up.
PNC's Bernard Mona interrogated and discharged by the CID following statements he made which were deemed to be threats on the Electoral Commission.
Made the statements that are contained in the 37 seconds video that they showed to me. And that I stand by those statements and I have nothing more to add.
Electoral Commission commences pilot exercise across the country to compile new voters register for election 2020.
I didn't bring my Ghana card. I joined the queue. I read there, they say somebody want to guarantee me that the system didn't pick.
Also coming up, government shoots down calls for mass testing of students and teachers for COVID-19 as it eases restrictions on schools. Meanwhile, Eastern region records significant hikes in the number of COVID-19 recoveries.
For Eastern region, we have 134 cases so far. But I must also say that 95 of these 134 have fully recovered.
And later, Parliament rules out any plans to shut the House after recording a number of COVID-19 cases.
The House will not shut down. Business will have to continue. Today we've recorded about 8,290 something. All these human beings are from one department or the other.
On this edition of the City Newsroom, we are coming to you from the CID headquarters here in Accra, where the national chairman of the People's National Convention, PNC, Bernard Mona, has been invited by the CID to respond to some comments he is alleged to have made, and same comments the police deem has some criminal elements to it. And so Mr. Bernard Mona has arrived at the CID headquarters and has gone in. We have some supporters of Bernard Mona here who have defied the rains to show their support or to solidarize with Bernard Mona here at the CID headquarters. Chief, Bernard has been invited, he has gone in, but why are you out here in the rain?
I'm sure you saw us coming together. We're supposed to go in together with him. The police decided that they will select some of our members from the political parties on that platform that he was speaking. You know, it's an inter-party resistance coalition.
Do we know how many people were allowed in?
About five plus his lawyers, 2 lawyers.
The invitation was to him. So why did all of you decide to join him here?
We are here to show that solidarity and to tell the whole country, the whole world, that there are people who are resisting that attempt or that approach that the EC is using.
We are not in normal times where we have coronavirus to fight, and then now as we stand here, we are at the mercy of the weather. Is it worth the risk?
Have you followed what is happening in America? This is the power of the people. We are not in normal times, but still, this is all about the voters register. The EC is attempting to disenfranchise Ghanaians by introducing certain requirements that we know most Ghanaians don't have.
So let me engage some more people who are also here.
I have a Ghana card. My firstborn had a Ghana card. But I don't believe that my mother who gave birth to me, I don't believe my father who gave birth to me have a Ghana card. So is it Nana Akufo-Addo and James Mensah want to tell me that I am more Ghanaian? My son is more Ghanaian than my mother? It cannot be possible. Nobody is here to fight. We are here to demonstrate for our rights. You see, it is the time for we, the youth, must to stand for the rights. We shouldn't allow ourselves to be bought because of money.
It's as though some libation is being poured.
President, Nana Kufuado. One cabo mena akashi, but no use of police be here against someone be here. Oko joba, ko joba, nibi niba oba na, ona. IGP one chabu. One cabo akashi, mabona mana, man, mama hey, ajeme, koda kalawo, no kalaya.
So the supporters, not so much of a crowd, but then again we know 2 or 3 can be a crowd, and so the police has left no stone unturned. They are here fully geared and armored to forestall any mishap that may occur. And so at the entrance of the CID headquarters, we have a number of them lined up. You can see them with their shields. There's a few we're seeing with tear gas guns, ready for whatever may arise here at the headquarters of the police CID. Here, the drivers, the various drivers, driving with their hazard indicators on, tooting their horns. And the thing is, when the drivers toot their horns, it seems to energize the crowd the more, and so the chanting also increases. We can see some of them pouring onto the road now, as if they know the occupants of these particular vehicles. So the actions of the crowd are causing somewhat of vehicular traffic on this stretch. The police are on hand though to direct the flow of traffic, but it's obvious the motorists are looking to catch a glimpse of exactly what is happening. We've seen some notable persons, some members of parliament. The Honorable A.B. Husseini is here. Welcome to the City Newsroom, sir. Why are you in the range at a time where you could have been home resting, sir?
Yes, it is because our democracy is on the verge of being compromised by Nana Akufo-Addo and his government.
Why do you say
today, even the freedom, the inalienable right of Ghanaians to speak, is being threatened. Master, I'm sure you are on record. What did Bernard Mona say? He said that we will resist any attempt to disenfranchise Ghanaians. And that is very true. I standing here, I'm a member of Parliament. I swear my father, in the constituency, let them attempt to remove one name. They will see what will happen there. We will resist them to the last, because we will not allow them to remove anybody's name.
There's some level of noise coming in from the motor riders. It's obvious that these motor riders are somewhat supporters of this action. Now we can hear the cars also tooting their horns. Some genuinely to have access way or to create access and pass through. Others also to cheer the protesters or the supporters on. Honorable, welcome to the City Newsroom. What do you make of the invitation of Bernard Mona to the CID and then the subsequent protests ongoing here?
We are speaking and sending a message to authorities and to the powers that be. You can always seek to suppress the will of the people, but you can never completely suppress the will of the people. As far as we are concerned, the invitation of Bernard Mona is an affront to free speech. It's an affront to free speech. It shall not be allowed. We will continue to oppose oppressors.
That was Honorable Sam Nake George, MP for Ningo Pram Pram, also registering his support for what is going here at the headquarters. And so the protest is ongoing here. But let's go to our correspondent, our security correspondent, Anna Seidu, who was here earlier to bring us up to speed with how or why it had to take him so long to enter the CID headquarters, and indeed what the situation was like earlier in the day. Tell us, when you got here, what was the atmosphere like?
At about 10 a.m. when I got here, members of IPON and Bernard Mona were already around. They were around the fire service headquarters traffic light. On that side, they stayed. And on the other side, where the police headquarters is, we had a human barricade formed by police officers, backed by a black barrier and a water cannon. there was this team that negotiated between the police and the team. So they will come, speak to the police, the leader of the police, go back and communicate to them. And the message was clear. The police didn't want to allow the crowd, that was over 50 people, almost 100 people, they didn't want to allow them in, and they communicated that to them. Later there was a compromise and they agreed that 20 of Bernard Mona's supporters should come with him. So they walked from the fire service traffic light to the CID gate. And there was another confrontation because the police wanted to still downsize the number to only Bernard Mona and his legal counsel. But supporters of Bernard wanted to join him into the police CID headquarters for questioning.
Right. Thank you very much. Anas Seidu, our man on the beat, bringing us up to speed with what transpired earlier with respect to the invitation of Bernard Mona and then, of course, the subsequent protest by members of the inter-party resistance against the new voters register. Stay with us as we bring you more on this particular matter. So as the crowd pours onto the road, the police also moves in with their shields to disperse them to allow for traffic to flow. Those armed with the shields have just moved onto the road itself. Now from the entrance of the headquarters onto the road itself to ensure that the crowd does not pour onto the road and also ensure a free flow of traffic. Let's speak to Director Operations Accra Command, ACP Kwesi Fori. Sir, welcome to the City Newsroom. First of all, how are you seeing the conduct of these protesters here at the headquarters?
This kind of gathering is illegal in line with the COVID-19 executive instrument, and that the police will not permit some of these illegalities. That is why we are here in our numbers, and we have only permitted the invitee, his counsel, to the CID headquarters, plus a handful of personnel. One thing is that we are in a democratic country, and people should heed to the laws of the land. What they are doing here is totally anarchy. Commuters are being burdened, to get home or to wherever they're going. And we've asked them to go to a more safer place, taking into account demonstrators on the road, what we saw in Minnesota. And we'll keep them at bay to make sure that people go to their homes.
Are you having any difficulty controlling them as they are here now?
For now, it is not above our strength. You might have noticed the police are fully in control, making sure that vehicular movement takes place. Commuters, go about their normal routes. So for now, it is not above us. But what they are doing is totally anarchy and improper.
So it looks like Bernard Mona is finally coming out. In celebration of what appears to be his release from the CID headquarters. And so the police is trying to pave some way for him to come out. And that's what's happening right now. We'll try our best to engage him and all his lawyers.
Freedom. Freedom will never fall onto a people. A people might raise themselves to freedom. We shall not allow our freedoms in any form to be trampled by any person. President Nana Akufo-Addo cannot stifle the freedoms that we are granted by the Constitution. Those freedoms include the freedom to speak. And we will speak. We will dare them and will speak the truth. Because at all points in time, we must correct the ills in our society, which ills, if we don't correct, have the potential of eroding the peace and stability of our nation. And therefore, this afternoon, I have just gone through a cordial process with the police. My statement is, and I quote, that I made the statements that are contained in the 37 seconds video that they showed to me. And that I stand by those statements and I had nothing more to add. I promised you that whatever I said that occasioned the invitation, I stand by it. The Electoral Commission of Ghana must know that their actions have the potential to plunge this nation into calamity. We are cautioning them that if they do not heed to us and anything happens to this country, they will not be safe. It is unthinkable that chiefs, community leaders will sit in their communities. Electoral Commission staff will get there and tell those people that they are not Ghanaians on the basis that they don't have Ghana card and passport. It will not happen. We are Ghanaians before national passports. We are Ghanaians before the Ghana card or ECOWAS card. ECOWAS card will not determine whether we are Ghanaians or otherwise. So it is important that the police, some of who are here, who are desiring for change, that they must wake up to the reality that anything that the Electoral Commission does that plunges this nation into calamity, there the police will also be affected.
For Mr. Bernard Mona. Council, welcome to the City News.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Right. What has Bernard Mona been charged? And if so, what is the charge? Tell us what really transpired in there.
Well, I think that when we went, he was informed that he's under arrest after the invitation, and the offense that is offensive conduct, which is not conducive and it's breach of the public peace. So they showed him a 37-second video. I think what has been on the media, and he says he still stands about what he said. Contrarily, what he has said is to promote peace, not really to breach of peace, to promote peace. That if you do this, you create confusion. And so he says that he stands by his word, and he will exercise his constitutional right by remaining silent. So we wrote a statement. He was granted bail, and we had to report after every 2 weeks.
That's basically the condition.
Yeah, but basically that is it.
Kazo, run us through the legal processes that transpired. So a video was playing to him, obviously as the evidence on which he was invited. Some interrogation was done. A statement was taken. Now he's been cautioned, and now he's to reappear every other Tuesday. So is this bail? What are the legal procedures?
The police have given him bail until the police do further investigations and they feel that the evidence that they have is compelling, that they can send him to court, then that is for the police. But they have the discretion to look at it and say, yes, we've looked at the tape, we've heard it. There's no compelling evidence. He hasn't got capacity, or what he was saying was a caution. And so if the police decide that, they will discharge him and they will say, we've closed the case. If not, maybe they will say, we are sending it to Attorney General, because that's the law office. And Attorney General will advise whether they can secure conviction with it or not, or they still want to go to court and prosecute him. So that one is entirely in the hands of the police and Attorney General.
Thank you very much. Victor Adawudo is one of the lawyers who represented Mr. Bernard Mona. And so that's about it for this issue, an invitation by the CID to Mr. Bernard Mona based on some comments he has made, to which the police thought had some criminal elements to it. Now secured bail and is to appear or to present himself to the police CID every other Tuesday.
The Chief Justice, Justice Enini Yeboah, has advised businessman Alfred Woyome to pay the 47 million debt to avoid the sale of his properties. Now, Justice Enini Yeboah made the comment during the hearing of an application by the Attorney General seeking leave of the court for the state to take over the properties of Mr. Woyome rather than the sale ordered. The application by the AG follows a request by the National Security for the transfer to the state some properties belonging to Alfred Woyome, which were ordered by the court to be sold to offset his debt to the state. The case was adjourned to 24th of June due to the unavailability of the lawyer of Alfred Woyome. Now, moving on. Parliament will not momentarily shut down despite a rise in the suspected number of COVID-19 cases recorded in the House. Now, that's according to the First Deputy Majority Chief Whip, Matthew Nyindam. He says the House will continue to abide by the safety protocols for curbing the spread of the virus rather than a shutdown for disinfection and quarantine of members and staff. Parliament completed mandatory mass testing for MPs and staff last week. There is more in this report.
Parliament last week was at the centre of brewing controversy over whether or not some staff and MPs had tested positive for COVID-19. This resulted in calls to shut down the House for at least 2 weeks. But First Deputy Majority Chief Whip Matthew Nyindam says the House will not be shut down.
The House will not shut down. Business will have to continue. Today we've recorded about 8,290 something. All these human beings are from one department or the other. Okay? Some are ministers, some are MPs, some are media guys. All these places you people are operating. You haven't closed. So Parliament will not close.
Some members of Parliament expressed views on the President's decision to ease restrictions associated with COVID-19.
We are where we are. Ghana is not an island unto itself. Indeed, even island countries have suffered COVID-19, and I would admonish our cherished viewers, good people of this country, that all the safety protocols that we have been advised to abide by becomes a part of us. Let us keep washing our hands. Let us wear our mask when we are going out. Let us keep appropriate social distancing protocols. And above all, if you don't have any business that would have to take you into town, by all means, stay home.
I don't see any reason for this at this point. If we were having lower numbers, then we will clap for him for doing a good job as the president of the country, and who has done so well in keeping us safe. That's our clap for him.
The ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee of the House called for government to withdraw the 100% increment on the bust margin.
It is a simple decision. I need money to take care of the people, and I'll make them worse off by getting the money. There is no need. And if we're at normal times you introduce it, we will not have any problem with that. But during pandemic, where most people have been laid off, people are struggling to keep their jobs. There is huge burden at home because most students are at home. This is not the time to be increasing levies, margins, and taxes. It is not the time.
There in Parliament, the easing of the restrictions by the President has become a matter of divided opinion. Some believe it's the right thing to do. Others think it's a step in the wrong direction. Reporting for City News from Parliament House, my name is Duke Mensopoku.
You're still watching the City Newsroom on City TV. Still to come, government shoots down calls for mass testing of students and teachers for COVID-19 as it eases restrictions on schools. Meanwhile, Eastern Region records significant hikes in the number of COVID-19 recoveries.
Details of that story and several others coming up. Don't go away.
extra data, extra minutes, and extra unlimited calls. Not just that, even our extra data doesn't expire. You need fill up? Simply dial *111# to bundle now.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Thank you, sir. Hello, my name is Samuel Ofori, a film actor and a film director. Because of the nature of my job, the taste for quality things is endless. Quality phones, quality laptops, quality TV sets. Let me show you my secret. Here is Franco Trading Enterprise. My secret for quality laptops, quality phones, quality TV sets, accessories, come on, external hard drive, pen drive, name it. For bulk purchase and retails, come to Franco Trading Enterprise. They will reduce the price for you. Franco Trading Enterprise, home of quality phones.
You're welcome back. Now, academic work for final year students for tertiary, second cycle and junior high schools will begin later this month. Now, for final year students in universities, academic work will be from June 15 to July 24, while exam will be between July 27 and August 21. Now, between June 22 and July 31, academic work will be conducted for final year students in senior high schools. At a press briefing to outline the Ministry of Education's plans for easing restrictions in the education sector, the sector minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, said all final year classes must comprise a population size of not more than 25 each. And my colleague Kojo Ajimine has the rest of the story.
The Minister of Education addressed issues regarding the Pre-Tertiary Education Bill, Tertiary Education Bill and the reopening of schools after the easing of COVID-19 restrictions. Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh said government has approved the Teacher Professional Allowance and Continuous Professional Development Support under the bill, but had removed the decentralization clause and other contentious clauses from the bill.
Government, because of the continuous professional development, the licensing exams for new teachers, called the Teacher Professional Allowance. That will give every teacher 1,200 Ghana cedis, and for non-teaching staff, 600 cedis for continuous professional development. Also, government has approved critical support to TEWU members who have been left out for the last 8 years. We have heard much about the Pre-Tertiary Education Bill, that the listening government has listened to the unions and have deleted from the Pre-Tertiary Education Bill the unions' most vociferous concern to do with decentralization.
The minister, outlining conditions for reopening of schools, directed that all final year classes should comprise of a population size of 25 each when schools reopen.
The junior high school is going to operate a shorter school day so that playground activities would not be permitted. Assemblies would not be permitted. The kids will start school at 9 a.m. and by 1 they should be done and go to school. Breaks will be had in the class. The students will rest between lectures, 45 minutes. They will have a rest for 15 minutes before another, and a maximum of 4 lectures a day, and they can go back to school. Like I said, there will be no mass gathering, and all class sizes are going to be split to ensure the social distancing protocols. We do know that averaging the senior high school maximum class about 50, so we want to maintain classes not more than 25, and in the junior high school not more than 30.
The West African Examination Council had indefinitely postponed all exams for final year students of pre-tertiary schools in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now the Education Minister confirmed that the West African Exams Body will conduct exams for final year students at the senior high schools as well as junior high schools.
When you go to some West African countries, they have their national exam. In fact, Ghana had a national exam plus the WASI till 2014 or 2012, thereabout. We have the SSCE and we have the West Africa Exams Council. We have discussed elaborately with the Ghana West Africa Examination Council, and they are doing a Ghana-specific exam because the other countries are not operating.
The Ministry of Education also says students who are unwell or have health conditions must not be allowed to resume schools. The minister explains such categories of students are vulnerable and can easily contract COVID-19. He said there will be an aggressive sensitization program for students on COVID-19 precautionary measures.
There will be leaflets and publicity campaigns to ensure that. But we have to understand that somebody's misaction or somebody flouting is a danger to all of us here. If you have a fever, don't go to school. We expect no parent to send a child to school when the child is unwell.
My name is Kojo Achman reporting for City News.
95 persons out of a total 134 who tested positive for COVID-19 in the Eastern region have fully recovered as of Tuesday, June 2. Now, according to the Eastern Regional Health Directorate, surveillance is ongoing by health professionals who are still working around the clock to make sure infections are reduced and contained. Now, speaking at the official reopening of the African Construction Camp B site at Pong in the Lower Manyakrobo municipality, the Eastern Regional Health Director, Dr. Mrs. Alberta Brichub Nyako, indicated that 7 out of 21 health workers who got infected in their line of duty have also fully recovered.
When disaster struck here, we had all the cooperation that we needed from the company and also from the local government authorities, from the security, and also from the indefatigable health staff who have to work 24 hours every day for the past 10 weeks to ensure that we can proudly say the outbreak is over here in Pong and at AFCON Camp B. As we stand here for Eastern Region, we have 134 cases so far. But I must also say that 95 of these 134 have fully recovered, which means that we have at least 70% recovery as at now. And we are very grateful to God for that. Unfortunately, we have some of our health workers also getting infected, some of them in the line of duty, others also because of community spread. We have 21 of our health workers who have so far been infected, and 7 of them have also fully recovered. I must say that now that the restrictions have been eased and the President has promised us that there will be phases of the easing of restrictions, it is also time for us to do even more than what we were doing before.
Now, traders operating from shops around the Takoradi Market Circle have kicked against a planned shift system by the Sekondi Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly. The exercise is scheduled to begin on Thursday, June 4, when the market reopens. Shop operators who are expected to pick their shift cards today told City News they would not do so as the operations are outside the market and are observing social distancing in their shops.
The Sekondi Takoradi Metro Assembly, following the surge in COVID-19 cases, closed down 4 major markets, including the Market Circle, on 28 May, and it is planning to reduce the number of traders at each market with 3 shifts for the Takoradi Market Circle and 2 shifts for Kojokrom, Sekondi, and Efiekuman and Banai markets. But today being the day earmarked for the market women to pick their shift cards, these shop operators are resisting because they say they are not inside the market.
Takwade market second na yawo. Na your floors will go actually. Bema na utu wani adomu. Ya many markets no. Mami ya kofie. Most man na mo chair numbers di amawo. Enwa ya da wa refuse na mo friend say ya mra. Ya so ya kan. Ya sam tie nyina ya sade ya sayem. So say ya wa. Social distance ya making the fine. Ya wa work as ya no mo ya adwuma. To some catch and sassa more chan and the Samaye, near run a ship, every wire and no cry and no more 20 to Maka, no senior Diajuma, see at Saturday and Siam, Maka cycle stocks, yes, Saturday and Siam, numbers no more Chanavia, Yakasi about Pinasua, young Pinasson, young Pinasson, at the Chian, young Pinasson, or maybe about the store, near Toya, the friend, your loans, near Kukumia, when you're much of that. Nana do tia be my into oya abane into your lockdown but when come a time should there 1 year to the was say we find Obama hand the card na card is over here here 10 to an interval between each store no move where your child will pick it you want to for you it's the answer because you Veronica bucket so what can this is one I will go by particular Bible stone because I bought a day that's our one side my say I answer the ball was Adam support because I tried and paid it as some of them. So, you take all the precautions that were paid as so woman card. Woman card or today. I did about twice a week and now once a week. Now, no sure, boy, been the loss of what you do. If you hear so your taxes, your children, maybe try them all on Boyan. The one who should have been so win that didn't want more what Tasha or work school. Show from the hostel fee now from the school fees not over church. Say, yeah, you may have been there church them in the march and I some dear by a man. It's your struggle, Banade. Oh, we are mobile. Now, wonder why your head of your departments are in there. One won't buy no mobile. No one tell me, and I want to be a basic door. No, Mamma card, Mamma, and you want a yard, and you ask them to your wine in there. And you want yard in the arranging. One chance that gun and never be when I do man you. Gun, you woman, another upon a child, never be bread when I do man yet. And 10 man, you don't even you for. No, your chef ye. It is a bow, I don't know, you know, the chef ye. No, but no, probably no kunya business. What can on the lockdown? And I tell you what put you kunyama. Ghana and Lancasana, and yet I ever know Kuno. I wonder 1 year from Noble Kunyan. Will it Simiana today? I want your answer, was same machine. No, will it Simian, Japon child. Nana, the Cotojogu. Ghana, but Cotojogu. In my self, we had anything you for. Actually, fear was so you want to do. No, university. Or what your school fees, Nanado. Cotojogu for Mesro, Yakupan, or Mashan,
For the Public Relations Officer for the Sekanita Credit Metropolitan Assembly, John Last, shops that refuse the shipped cars will not be opened.
Well, for those shop owners who are saying that they will not want to be part of the shift system, I mean, it's their choice. But as Assembly, we've taken a decision, and what we are saying is that we are managing the markets on that basis, meaning the shift system. So it's mandatory. It's not like other groups can decide to do otherwise. So it's up to them to decide to conform to the directives that we're giving, or they decide to close down their shops and stay home, because we need to make sure that the directives that we are introducing, works for the benefit of everybody who undertakes business or is doing business within the market sector and the other markets within the metropolis.
Despite stiff opposition from some political parties and civil society organizations, the Electoral Commission has begun processes to compile a new voters' register for election 2020. The Commission began a pilot exercise today ahead of the main exercise scheduled for June to compile the new register. City News' Ashanti regional correspondent monitored the exercise in the Ashanti region and reports.
Pilot exercise, according to the Electoral Commission, is conducted before the proposed date for the main exercise to compile the new register. This is to allow the electoral management body to test equipment to be used for the exercise and also help address anticipated challenges. In the wake of COVID-19 restrictions, however, the exercise is being conducted with strict adherence to safety protocols. Eligible voters taking part in the pilot exercise are made to observe the measures, including hand washing and the reading of their body temperature. Sitting arrangements have also been made for participants to observe social distancing. Equipment are regularly sanitized after they are used. Some eligible voters who took part in the pilot exercise shared their experience.
The whole process took me about 5 minutes once I was holding a Ghana card. Daily I got to the gate. I was asked to go to where the Veronica bucket is. I washed my hand and I was given some sanitizer to clean my hand, and I joined the queue. And I've been in the queue until it gets to my turn. You can see that if the processes that I took through is done at the actual registration, everything will be okay.
I'm actually very impressed looking at from the point of entry to the arrangements of the seats. So when you get there, the measures you take by using the sanitizers and all that before you get involved in anything, I'm really impressed by that.
Political party representatives who were there to monitor the process made these observations.
It is an observation process. We would put together our observations and make it known to the public. Be that as it may, we have our casual observation that show that most of the applicants for the pilot exercise are largely, staff of the Electoral Commission. They are well abreast with issues and they are well composed. And it's therefore a controlled atmosphere which may not be representative of a typical registration atmosphere. Our preference is that the entire idea and attempt to compile a fresh voters register is absurd and should be stopped immediately.
So why taking part in this exercise, the pilot is if you are against the voters register?
We have been invited. This is to reiterate our commitment and willingness to work with the Electoral Commission at all times when things are done right.
Can you imagine 14 million people voting in one day? This one is going to take 40 days. So this one, we can relax, and then if you want to register, you take your time, you can register. So if you take your time, you get into your turn and then you register. Urge them to prepare, and then we also wait for the D-Day. We will register. Nothing can happen. Ghana is not for anybody. Ghana is for Ghanaians. And the law will work. The law will work. Nobody can prevent anybody from registering.
Officials at the commission say day one of the exercise was without challenge.
But you see, this is a live program. So it's not just that we come and we register you. We are doing it as if we are doing proper registration, even though it's a pilot one. And when you do this one, it doesn't mean that you don't have to register during the main one. You have to still register. But the condition we have attached to it is to strictly go by the D-Day activities. So here we expect your eligibility, proof of eligibility. If you do not have, that is the passport or the Ghana card. If you don't have them, you need two people to stand in as guarantors before you be registered. So Commission is poised to ensure a very successful and helpful program. So I would therefore call on all Ghanaians to take part in the exercise that will come on later part of this month.
Now, persons without a passport or the Ghana card who showed up at the Northern Regional Office of the Electoral Commission could not register for the voter's ID card on the first day of the pilot exercise. This is because the machines could not pick details of the guarantors in order to print the cards. But EC officials say this challenge will be addressed before the main exercise commences.
Despite criticism against the compilation of a new voter register,
The Electoral Commission has begun preparations towards compiling a new voters register with a 2-day pilot registration nationwide. City News visits to the regional office of the EC in Tamale on Tuesday morning saw some officials of the Commission and representatives of various political parties in a queue for the exercise. According to EC officials, even though the exercise is open to the public, only stakeholders, including returning officers and some party representatives, turn up for the exercise. City News observed officials were practicing the COVID-19 health protocols. Some of the people who went through the process have been speaking to City News.
Actually, we're here by 8 o'clock, and the process has been very smooth. We're observing all the protocols that are to be taken. So over here, you have to meet the registration officer first. Then after the registration officer, you proceed to the data entering clerk. Then after the data entering clerk, your card will be given to you. Then you laminate it with at the lamination center. And that is where you will now be issued your card.
Even though from the beginning there were certain hitches here and there, and these are some of the things that will make us identify the possible problems which will help us prepare properly for the forthcoming exercise. Yeah, I have had my card. I didn't spend more than 3 minutes to have my card.
I was feeling sick because they will give you the sanitizer to sanitize yourself.
However, persons who did not have the required documents, including passports and the Ghana card, which is a prerequisite for the registration, had challenges.
I have a guarantor, 2 people to guarantee. They guaranteed me all right, but they even installed everything to the machine, my name, my everything. Therefore, but when they got to the guaranteed column, the machine started misbehaving. But those who have their ID, national ID or passport, for them they are just passing through. But with those that they've guaranteed, that is having problem for now. But they said they are working on that process.
I didn't bring my Ghana card. I have joined the queue. I read there, they say somebody want to guarantee me that the system didn't pick. They say I should bring my own Ghana card. So I'm waiting my Ghana card so that I will do the process.
The acting regional director of EC, Lucas Uriel, said the challenge has been communicated to the head office for redress.
We had some issue with the machine with regard to getting the polling stations. And then the Accra was giving them the instruction to go. They set the system, the machine, to receive registration officers. But they were told to go off to the earlier stage. And they were having some difficulty, but Accra has instructed them what to do, and they have resolved that issue.
The cards being issued by the Electoral Commission during the test trial, according to officials, is a dummy card and cannot be used for voting. Official date for the general exercise is yet to be communicated.
You're still watching the City Newsroom on City TV. Still ahead, Ministry of Works and Housing cautions motorists against driving through heavy rain.
We have the details and many more coming up shortly. Do stay.
$79,000 only to buy you a studio apartment in Accra. Why not come to Weli for a spacious 2-bedroom apartment at Alphabet City, our brand new gated community situated right on top of the serene Sakomano Lagoon, feeling like splashing a little. Check out our exclusive all-detached house gated community with Jaden Symphonic next door. Sizes range from cozy 3 bedrooms to luxurious 5 bedrooms. We at Weli are committed to provide you with the best building quality and value for money. In fact, we are the proud recipient of 2019's Quality Property Firm Award. Just like our homes, our payment terms focus on your needs. Choose from installment up to 24 months or take advantage of mortgage up to 20 years. At Waylead, we build home for you. Call us now at 0240-111119 or 0504-499999 to secure your dream home now.
Businesses are evolving with the changing times, and the City Business Festival is doing the same. In the month of June, City Business Festival goes digital. City TV, in collaboration with Absa Bank, will give SMEs the opportunity to reboot their businesses with expert forums, discussion platforms, and interactive Zoom sessions. There will be a lesson for every business. Gain insight into the e-commerce ecosystem, understand the tools and applications that are redefining work, and get a head start into the export market and agribusiness. Revamp your business and work environment this June with City TV. The City Business Festival starts on the 1st of June 2020. The City Business Festival is sponsored by Absa Bank and supported by the Ghana Investment Promotion Center.
About to change your Sunday night for the better.
Set your timers and join us every Sunday night starting from the 7th of June on The Upside Down Show. We will bring you the most captivating guests and explore the most amazing stories.
We will dazzle you with real-life situations and examine mind-blowing topics. Join me, Frema Dunyame,
and me, Ato Kwamna, every Sunday at 7 p.m. on City TV. Are you ready?
Hello again. With the country heading into the rainy season, the Ministry of House and Works and Housing has given motorists a word of caution in relation to their safety.
Well, the ministry has warned motorists not to drive through heavy rain since it is a major cause of casualties. There is more in this report.
According to the Housing Ministry, reports from the Ghana Meteorological Agency indicate that this year the rains will be intense, hence the caution. This follows an incident in Ho last week where 4 occupants of a saloon car escaped death after the rains carried the vehicle into a storm drain. Another incident occurred on the Kaswa-Accra stretch where some vehicles got submerged in the rain. Speaking to the media after touring some flood-prone areas in Accra, Minister of Works and Housing, Samuel Atachia, cautioned motorists to avoid driving through heavy rain.
My view is that stop your vehicle and not drive through the floods. You are not in Noah's Ark for you to dare the floods. But eventually, if you are not careful and your vehicle gets subsided under the floods, the consequence will be death. And that is not what we don't want to see. So our people should also be responsible that when the road is very flooded, we do not drive through the floods. The consequences might be very dire for anybody who wants to challenge such a situation. Since the rains are here with us, we should be wise not to dare the floods and drive through the floods, especially when it's so serious, because the consequences you might not be able to contain. It can even result in death, and our people should learn to place themselves out of harm's way.
Mr. Atachia called for a halt to the dumping of refuse into storm drains.
It is sad that sometimes we want to blame the government for every trouble, but I can tell you right here that most of the problems are coming from us. We do not find the government putting together garbage to come and dump it in drains. It's the individuals. Anything they don't like in their house, they gather them and put them in the drains. And then when the drains get choked, my brother, and the heavy downpours, the water will not find its levels in the channels any longer. There's a spillover. That's what we call the flooding. So I'm advising my brothers and sisters who live along these channels not to dump their garbage into the drains, but rather they should find very, very good way of trying to dump their waste, and these things will stop. Because insofar as we dredge and they put in garbage, and we dredge and they put in garbage, we are back to square one.
Another rainy season.
Yeah, and it's here again.
And its attendant challenges.
And we are going to be reporting about flooding.
Exactly.
It looks like it's an annual occurrence and nothing is really being done. You know, every year we know that flooding will come, the rains will come, the flooding will come. We'll talk about it. Yeah. As soon as the rain stops, we go back to bed, and then the following year.
I mean, it's a big challenge. And then if you watched Philip's report, you noticed that vehicles, cars, with their weight, were dragged into storm drains. So how much more a human being who should slip into, I mean, a situation like that? I mean, I think we should stop the lip service and really put our resources where they need to go and fix some of these issues, because some of these problems are human problems. I mean,
you know, talking about human problems, I also think that we, the citizens, also have some responsibilities, you know, because the ministers don't live with us, and should anything happen, we are the people who are going to be at risk. And so you find people still throwing rubbish into drains and still, you know, building on waterways and doing what we want, you know. And at the end of the day, we forget that we are the ones to suffer.
But see, there's also the problem of allowing some of these things to happen, and then when it grows and you want to stop them, it becomes a challenge. I mean, if you see a weed growing in your house, you cut it off before it grows into a big tree where you would have to uproot.
Absolutely.
And it becomes a challenge.
Of course, and you know, in a situation where we also are very lackadaisical, you know, in implementing some measures. So now if you find somebody throwing rubbish indiscriminately into a drain, or people doing untoward behaviors, who do you go and tell, and what will happen? It looks like nothing will happen, and so people just want to do whatever they please to do.
Exactly. And even worse is the fact that we're now in the COVID-19 era, and then we are not even sure what will be happening tomorrow. Absolutely. So if we're dealing with COVID-19 and then we have to deal with a perennial flooding, then I mean, it's just simply a Herculean task.
Well, so the onus lies on all of us to make sure that we put an end to actions that always bring flooding to us. And this is where we wrap up. You've been watching the City Newsroom on City TV. Remember, our website, citynewsroom.com, has more information on our headlines and more.
Subscribe to CityTube on YouTube for more exclusive video content from City TV.
Download the City Newsroom app from the Google Play Store and keep updated on the go.
You can also watch City TV on DSTV channel 363 and on GoTV channel 182.
My name is Frima Dunyame.
And my name is Nanatu Fobuati. Many thanks for watching.